Okay, this is number 17 from the other review packet, the second part of the review packet I gave you tonight. It says a toll booth is located 3/4 of the way up a 2,640-foot ramp as shown below. So let's get those numbers on there real quick. The whole ramp, I know, is 2,640 feet. And I know the toll booth, which is here, is 3/4 of the way. So the way I'm going to calculate that is I'm going to do 3/4 times 2640 to find what distance that represents. I come up with 1,980. So that means the distance from the bottom of the ramp to the toll booth is 1,980 feet. Okay? Then it says the first pillar supporting the toll booth, that's this guy right here, is 360 feet high. And the the distance on the ground from the lower end of the ramp to that pillar, so this distance here is 1,948 feet. The first question wants to know, find the height of the pillar at the end of the ramp. So that's this one. Okay? To find that, let's find what that pairs up with. Okay, this X here corresponds with this 360. So that's how I'm going to start my proportion. I'm going to start as X over 360. And then this X is a side in the big triangle. And the 360 is a side in the small triangle. Whoops, small triangle. So I need to find a pair of sides that corresponds in the big triangle and the small triangle. And the only other place I see a pair that actually goes together is this 1980 with the 2640. Okay, this is the small triangle, this is the big triangle. So the 2640 is in the big triangle. I'm going to put that across from the X. And the 1,980 is in the small triangle. Okay? So I'm going to do 360 times 2640. I get 950,400. That equals 1,980x. And then I'm going to divide by that 1,980. Oops. And I end up with 480 feet for x. Okay, so this height right here is 480. Okay? Then it says, what is the total ground distance from the lower end of the ramp to the upper end? So ground distance means I'm looking along the ground. I want this entire distance. A couple different ways you could go about this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, here's my small side. I want to know what big side that corresponds with. If I'm trying to find this whole distance, let me see if I can draw this better. Okay, what I'm trying to find is this. So I need another pair of numbers that corresponds like these numbers do. And I look right across and I see these ones. Okay, this is a small side, this is a big side, this is a small side, this is a big side. So I can set up a proportion with those. I can say x over 1948, so that's big side over small side, would have to equal the big side right across from it, which is 2640, over 1980. I could have also, by the way, gone with this big side and small side. Okay, this is a big side, this is a small side that go together. Probably visually it makes more sense that this and this would correspond with this and this, but these ones would work as well. Okay, so you could have also used 360 and 480. Let's do some cross multiplying here. So 1948 times 2640 gives me with, where do I want to put this? 5,142,720 and that's going to equal 1980 times x. Okay, divide by 1980. Divide by 1980. I get 2,597.3 for x. Okay, so this distance here is 2,597.3. And I would check your answer to make sure it makes sense. It seems reasonable that this would be almost 2,600 feet when this is a little over 2,600 feet. Of course, going up the ramp is going to be greater distance than going flat along the ground. Think of that as a right triangle. Okay, this distance is going to have to be shorter than this one, but probably not by a ton because these numbers are smaller than these ones. Okay, so that number is reasonable.